case you missed it, we're actually giving away a PlayStation 5, so make sure to follow the link below to enter, as the giveaway will end in just about a week. Now, the iPhone 12s have just launched a few weeks ago, and we already have some actual leaks of the iPhone 13. So without any further ado, here is everything we know so far about the 2021 iPhones. So get the snacks ready, sit back, relax, and enjoy. This video is sponsored by Smarty, the low-cost SIM-only mobile network that offers unlimited calls, unlimited messages, and big data allowances on all of its one-month plans without locking you into a contract. Their Black Friday deal is still going until December the 8th, and you get 50 gigabytes of data for just £12 a month. That is 20% off. Or you can go big with unlimited data for £18 a month. Whatever plan you choose, Smarty means no surprises at the end of the month. With fast data, no speed caps, and unlimited tethering, Smarty is the honest mobile network that you've been missing. Sign up using the link below. So this year, in 2020, Apple redesigned the iPhones, and we not only got a similar design as to the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 5, but we also got 4 new flagship models this year: the iPhone 12 mini, the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 Pro, and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Bing Chico reports that in 2021, we would still have the exact same iPhone sizes, which to me looks like Apple would literally keep the exact same designs as we got in 2020. One small change that we've actually made to our concept is that we changed the frame from stainless steel on the Pro models to brushed stainless steel, just to make it easier to withstand those fingerprints and smudges, which are quite bad on the iPhone 12 Pros, to be honest. So that'll be awesome to happen, but again, we don't actually have any leaks on this. This was just a change that we made to our concept. Now, there will likely be a brand new color, but other than that, don't expect any major design changes next year. So what about the notch? Is it getting any thinner, or is it still going to be the exact same fat notch that we got in 2017 with the iPhone 10? Well, we have seen a few reports that a notch will be getting thinner and shorter, including one coming from Ice Universe, who's been very accurate in the past. So we've also made our notch on our concept shorter to reflect that, so I'm really hoping that this will be the case with the iPhone 13. Right, so same design, possibly a shorter notch. So what about the actual display now? Is it finally going to be a high refresh rate panel? And the answer is yes. Ross Young, a well-known display analyst with a very good track record, reports that he believes that the iPhone 13 Pros will be getting LTPO panels. Now, this was rumored to happen with the iPhone 12s, but according to Ross Young again, the main issue here was the display controller, the one that would actually allow the display panel to dynamically adjust its refresh rate up to 120Hz. Android phones have had high refresh rate displays since the 2017 Razr phone, and nowadays in 2020 it is actually quite difficult finding an Android phone that does not have a 90 or even a 120Hz refresh rate. And having a high refresh rate display makes such a massive difference when it comes to using your phone, as your phone can display 50 or even 100% more frames per second in that case. So everything from gaming to just browsing the web will actually feel faster on a low-end phone with a 120Hz panel than on a high-end phone with a 60Hz panel. So why hasn't Apple added 120Hz then? Well, the main issue here is that iPhones have very similar or even identical components in between each model. And since Apple releases 4 new iPhone models every year now, or even 5 if we count the iPhone SE, Apple actually sells significantly more similar phones than the competition, meaning that they will need to get their hands on significantly more components than the competition. Something like 50 to even 60 million plus individual components such as OLED displays, Taptic engines, camera modules, and much more. And Apple usually likes to wait and see how the public perceives a major change that their competition has already added before deciding to implement it themselves. And when they do decide to implement it, they also need to mass produce that component. Reason why Apple is usually years behind some of the Android smartphones. Also, the iPhone 12s was when Apple switched to 5G. These iPhones are also thinner than the iPhone 11s before, and they also have a smaller battery, which to be honest doesn't actually last as long as on the iPhone 11s. So adding 120Hz, even if this would have been a dynamically adjustable refresh rate, it would have made that battery life even worse. It seems like 2021 is really when Apple will be implementing this, a high refresh rate display, likely with a larger battery and even possibly with some improved efficiency in their processors too. So what about the camera? The biggest news comes from ET News, Ming-Chi Kuo, as well as DigiTimes Taiwan, who all claim that Apple will be adding a periscope zoom lens into the next iPhones. So this will be similar to what Samsung and Huawei have been using for a while now, a stack of multiple lenses that will give you a much higher optical zoom range than what you could theoretically achieve with a standard glass that we have now. The only problem is that a module like that would stick out about 1 centimeter from the phone, and of course that no one wants that. So to solve that, Samsung and Huawei have positioned that lens horizontally inside the phone, and then they're also using a mirror to redirect the light onto that side lens. Basically just how a telescope works, hence its name, telescope lens. Apple does have patents on such a module dating from back in 2014, so it does seem very likely that this is indeed something that Apple will be adding to a next iPhone. Unfortunately, that next iPhone will not be the iPhone 13, but a one released in 2022 instead. As according to Ming-Chi Kuo, DigiTimes and ET News, we would not be seeing such a module on the iPhone 13. But when it does come in 2022, this should give us around a 5x or even more optical zoom from the 2.5x and 2x that we have on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the iPhone 12 Pro right now. However, if this is something that you would like to try right now, you can already do that on phones such as the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, the Huawei P40 Pro, Mate 20 Pro, and a few more. So if we're not getting that periscope module in the iPhone 13, are we getting any camera module improvements? And luckily, we are. So Ming-Chi Kuo reports that the ultra-wide-angle camera on the iPhone 13 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro Max, that module will be getting some major upgrades. Apparently, it will feature an f1.8 aperture lens up from the f2.4 that we have on the iPhone 12. Meaning that it will be able to capture much more light. And on top of this, Ming-Chi Kuo also reports that this new module will now feature a 6-element lens, up from the 5-element lens that we have now on the ultra-wide-angle module on the iPhone 12s. Meaning that the clarity of the photos coming out of the ultra-wide camera should be a noticeable improvement. Currently, if you take a look at the edges of an ultra-wide-angle shot taken on the iPhone 12s, you'll notice that they are a bit soft, with the sharpest part of the image being right in the center. And aside from this, Ming-Chi Kuo also mentions that the ultra-wide-angle module will be getting autofocus, which is something that we don't have at the moment, and as far as I'm aware, at least, we don't actually have this on any other smartphone on the market. So this should allow you to take some close-up shots that are very, very wide. Whereas now, that ultra-wide-angle module is mostly aimed at landscapes and shots in which you're further away from the subject. So what about the main camera module then? Are we getting any improvements there? Well, according to Russ Young, the iPhone 13 mini and the iPhone 13 will both get the same massive sensor that we got this year on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, with 1.7 micron pixels, up from the 1.4 micron pixels that we have now. This will result in much better low light performance and more depth of field, aka more portrait mode shots without portrait mode. Interesting enough, it seems like the sensor shift technology would actually not be present in the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 mini. So what about the iPhone 13 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro Max then? Well, according to Ross Young again, these two iPhones will be getting an even bigger sensor, with 1.9 micron pixels this time. And this is actually larger than what Samsung's currently using on the Galaxy S20 line, with the exception of the Galaxy S20 Ultra, where we have 1.8 micron pixels, larger than what Apple is using now on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And this will be a gigantic upgrade over the 1.4 micron pixels that we have now in the iPhone 12 Pro. Not only that, but both the iPhone 13 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro Max will be getting sensor shift technology, which means that if Ross Young's report is correct, then there shouldn't be any difference in terms of the camera performance between the two iPhone 13 Pro models, which I'm extremely happy to hear. Like, I absolutely love the size of the iPhone 12 Pro. I even switched from an iPhone 11 Pro Max to the iPhone 12 Pro, and just having a phone that I can easily use with one hand while also having enough screen space for viewing my content is pretty great. So we're getting some pretty big camera upgrades, but are we getting anything else? Well, I wanted to leave the best for the very end, and that is the fact that at least one iPhone model in 2021 will not have a charging port at all. This is coming from John Prosser, but we also have seen this reported by pretty much all major Apple insiders, that Apple is planning on ditching the charging port in favor of a proprietary wireless charging solution. And that proprietary wireless charging solution looks to be MagSafe. But I honestly don't think that this is a good idea, and here's why. You see, MagSafe at the moment isn't great. It's noticeably slower than cable charging, and since MagSafe sticks to the back of the iPhone, it is pretty much just like having the lightning cable connected. Oh, and the downside is that it is more expensive, and the MagSafe itself will actually get quite hot when the iPhone is charging, meaning that using your iPhone when it's charging via MagSafe will be quite more difficult than just using it when it's charging via Lightning. Now, if Apple manages to match or even exceed the speed of charging via Lightning by using a future version of MagSafe, then maybe I would say it will be worth it. But even then, why? Why switch? Just so that you can make your phone more water resistant? Like, I mean, take a look at the iPhone 12s right now. They're water resistant up to 6 meters, which is the most of any phone. And while the lightning port does indeed take up some space inside a phone, it is not like Apple will be able to include a massive battery just by removing that lightning port. Maybe they will be able to increase the battery size by like 20 milliamps or something like that, but that's pretty much it. So why MagSafe instead of USB Type-C? Well, I did talk about this in many prior videos throughout the years, and essentially every time a third-party manufacturer sells a lighting accessory, it needs to pay Apple a commission. In total, this actually adds up to a few $1 billion per year in revenue for Apple. If they were to switch to USB Type-C, they would actually lose all of that revenue. And yes, they have switched to USB Type-C on the Macs and the iPad, but that was because those devices only made Apple a fraction of what the iPhone accessories made them. So the profit from third-party Lightning accessory makers mostly comes from iPhone-related accessories. If Apple switches entirely to MagSafe, which they've already started pushing this year, they could not only keep that revenue, but also increase it, as MagSafe also allows Apple to get a commission from MagSafe cases and MagSafe car mounts and, you know, a lot more things, whereas Lightning only allowed Apple to take a commission from cables and audio accessories. So only one iPhone model, according to John Prosser, will be removing that charging port rather than all 4 models. And it is very likely that in 2022, all iPhones will be moving to MagSafe. Which iPhone model will that be? Well, I would say it is very likely going to be the iPhone 12 Pro Max. But let me know in the comments, which iPhone model do you think will drop the Lightning port next year? And what do you think about, well, all of this? And finally, you're all probably wondering, how will next year's iPhones be called? Will they be called the iPhone 13 or the iPhone 12s or something entirely different? Personally, I would say that they will very likely going to be called the iPhone 13. Apple has gone back and forward on the S line to the point where I honestly do believe that the S models are now dead. You know, the iPhone 3G had an S model, the iPhone 4, 5, and 6, they also had an S model, the iPhone 7 did not, the iPhone 8 did not, the iPhone 10 did, but then the iPhone 11 did not, and Apple just switched to the iPhone 12. So judging by the fact that we only had one S model since the iPhone 6s in 2015, which was the iPhone 10s, I would say that the S naming scheme is dead. Which I think is a good thing, because that simply makes consumers think that, oh, this is actually a big upgrade, whereas an S model might make them think that the improvements are minor, even though sometimes they actually have been quite significant in the past. But yeah, let me know in the comments what do you guys think about everything that I talked about in this video, and don't forget about a PS5 giveaway, which is still going, and like I said, it ends in just a few days. Definitely subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to see more leaks and rumors and more in-depth tech videos like this one hopefully was, and also become a member if you want to support a channel and videos like this one in the future. Thank you for watching, I'm Daniel, this has been Zone of Tech, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Zone of Tech, signing out. Cheers.